Hello everyone, Sylvia here from Rock the Cradle on another exciting episode of Doula Dialogues. Exciting topic today, speech, language, and your babies and what they're doing and how many words should they be speaking at what age. My guest today is Jennifer Benedik, and she is a speech pathologist, speech and language pathologist with Ultra Services Health here in Montreal. And hey, Mika, and waiting for Jennifer to come on. And yeah, so we're talking all about milestones today. It's something parents worry about once in a while, especially here in Montreal, where we have lots of parents with more than one language at home. I have English and French, but some of my kids' friends have more than even those two languages. So how does that affect our speech, or our baby's speech, basically? So that's what we're chatting about today. And oh my gosh, very technical difficulties. Hey, Mika. We're just waiting for Jennifer to come on, and hopefully she will be on shortly. Yeah, I would love to know all about the languages in your house and how that has affected your kids. I think kids are, either verbal or have better motor skills. I know my little daughter, she did not walk until she was 18 months, but she was a motor mouth and she would talk. Yes, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm just going to see here on my computer if Jennifer is having maybe some problems getting on. Hey, Katerina, how are you? Are you writing or listening in from your travels on the beach? Let me know. I want to know. We're just waiting for Jennifer to come on, and I don't see her name here. So since it's the two of you, and I know you well, you're gonna watch me write to Jennifer. Is she on yet? Yes, from Mexico, Katerina. Nice. How are you? We might have to start and stop this, but let's just keep... Katerina, yeah, you're dealing with many languages in your household too. It's a good topic for you because questions that people are always asking are if, with French and English, how does that work, right? We've got a few people on. Who else is on? Who else is on the call? Put a comments in and tell us what languages you are speaking at home. We're trying to get Jennifer on the line, and I am just saying I'm online and seeing what's going on here. Let's see, more people coming on. I don't see her here. Hello, everyone. So who do we have online? While we're waiting for Jennifer to come on. Let us know who's online. Katerina, Polish and German, thinking if we should do English too. And if you're living in Montreal, well, you're going to have French daycare, most likely. There are some English daycares as well. And that gets the kids, I wouldn't say confused, because kids are really good with languages and they are adaptable. I know our kids go back and forth. No invite to join, Jennifer. Let me see if I can get you on here. I don't see your name like we did yesterday. Oh, that's not good. I'm not sure. Let's see. You see me. Make sure you click on me, Jennifer, to hear me like you did yesterday. And wants to be in your video. Oh, there you go. I'm going to my video. I don't want to be just chatting here by myself. You're the expert. I'm
Oh,
not the expert.
exactly.
There we go. We we
Excellent. Here
we
we
got
are.
it.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Ah, excellent. How are you doing today?
Well, very well. Just chatting with some of the people online about how many languages
Mm-hmm.
everyone's speaking. You probably heard my little spiel, and
Right.
that's going to be something
Oh no,
that,
I've been watching, but
yeah, I just
it just
didn't,
wasn't
just
joining.
wasn't joining.
So
That's okay. That's all right.
yeah, but I'm here now. All that matters.
So
How are you doing
I'm
today?
very well, thank you. Jennifer is, like I was mentioning, a speech and language pathologist, and we're going to cover what I'd like to cover is, and you'll guide us, of course, in this. I want to get your expertise on this about what are the various milestones. There's been reaction about, I in my title of this Doula Dialogues, it was, "Is your baby on track?" And I know that all babies are
Okay.
different. I'm sure you're going to mention that. So I'd like to talk about what are we looking for, and then we're going to delve into what as parents can we do to guide our
Mm-hmm.
children in language. And then I'm going to have let's see, what did I write here? Yeah, when is it problematic? I think that's what a lot of parents, we're always worried, aren't we? You must have a lot of parents call
Hmm.
you worried.
Exactly. Well, that's what a lot of parents do to as part of the love that we have for our kids is we're not sure what's going on and we want to make sure we're doing everything right.
True. It's true.
So
So let's
if
delve
I
right
understand
in.
correctly, a lot of the people are pretty young, right?
Well, a lot of, I mean, how old are your babies online? Katerina's baby is close to a year old, I would say. A
Oh,
lot of our clients, I mean, I've been doing this now for 6 years. So, I mean, the babies
okay.
are already, my first ones are already in school. But, we're always getting new clients. Katerina says 8 months. Yeah, her little guy is 8 months.
Oh.
And yeah, they're all different ages. But I think, if we look at the first maybe 3 years, what are those, when kids
Yeah, those are
start to
big ones.
talk, right? I mean, when do kids start to talk? What should we
Hmm.
be looking for?
Well, I'm going to a little bit expand on that because
Yeah,
it's not just start to talk, it's really when do kids start to communicate? And they start to communicate right
to
away. I
communicate.
mean, anybody that's been
Yes,
around kids know that even if they don't have words, they're telling you what they want. Kids get
they
their needs
cry.
met. And the moment
They
that doesn't
cry.
happen, they cry. Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're communicating really, really clearly. And that's what we want to see. We want to see kids
Okay.
um, looking around, connecting with their family, and communicating and receiving communication too. So every
Yes.
time somebody goes and touches them, that's a communication. Makes little goo goo sounds to them, that's communication.
Yeah.
Talks to them, that's definitely communication.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we want to see is we want to see kids and what's going on with their eyes and where they're paying attention. So as they're listening to the sound, especially of the woman that's carried them, they've been hearing her voice forever and ever and ever
Definitely.
since they could first use that in the womb. It's been a sound as much as the heartbeat and the blood rushing around. So they're really used to the sound of mom's voice.
We see
And
that after
so,
birth. We see
are
that
they
after
looking for
birth.
mom?
Yes, like right
Yeah,
after birth, a baby's on you and you can soothe them with your voice, and even your partner's
exactly.
voice. Yes. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
right away.
Absolutely. They've heard the sounds that are around them. So what you want to do is you just want to be talking to your child as soon as you can. Really, just telling them little sweet nothings, telling them how much you love them, telling them what everything is, your plans, whatever. They're an open book, right?
It's true.
So that's the first thing that's really important is that the parents have to be talking to their kids because if there's nothing coming in, you can't really expect something to go out. And that's what we want to start with.
That's super
Everything is about just
important.
describing what's around you.
That's super important because I think there are
For
some parents
sure.
who are not as, they're not talking as much. And that's just their personalities, probably.
It could be personality, it could be cultural, it could be
Mm-hmm.
any number of things. But yeah, it really is about talking because it's also when you're very, very young, they don't have that range of focus. Like they can't see something across the room. A little
Right.
baby, the closer you
Yeah.
are, the more that they can suddenly focus in on you. And that's what we want is we want to get close to them. We want to get really in their face, eye to eye contact, lots of smiles, lots of cooing, lots of I love yous or whatever it
Yeah.
is that you're inspired to say to your child.
Nice.
And then what you want to do is just keep that up when you're doing something. Talk about what you're doing. Oh, it's time to eat now. Oh, we're going to change your diaper. Just keep talking to your kid, because that's how they're starting to develop their understanding of the tone of language, what language sounds like, how sentences sound like, as a big, big, big shape. And then they're going to drill down and work on those sounds as they start getting 6 months, 8 months, more control of their body. So right at the beginning, they don't really have the fine motor control to make all those sounds and coordinate every bit of articulation, is what we call it. So what you'll see early on is the front part of the mouth is really the most expressive. And so the sounds that come out from the front part of the mouth are the ones that use the lips. Mama, 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 pa, 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 pa.
Yeah.
So there's a real big reason why across the world, most of the words for mom and dad are mama, papa, dada.
Yeah.
Because those are all the front sounds. We don't want to wait, a year and a half till they've gotten those k, 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 and g, g, sounds.
No.
Or 2 years. We want it right away.
Oh, and it's so nice when they start saying those words. Oh, your heart melts. My heart melted.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's true.
But before they really link it together of mama, oh, this woman responded to that string of sounds, they're just going to be playing with it. And that's what you want. Play with sounds with your kid. Make those little ma, ma, ma.
So make it a game.
Tap. Ooh, yeah. Little fun, just in your face, I'm connecting with you, sort of a game.
Yeah, it comes
That's
back
really
also to that question about some parents are so worried about, what can I be doing to stimulate? What can I buy? Or what kind of games should I stimulate my child with at 8 months? And I'm like, it's your face. It's your face. Like I make the, the biggest faces. And that's what, I said, you don't need those flashcards. You don't need the flashcards when they're 6 months old.
Oh,
no.
Flashcards are not my preference.
No, the face, just, and getting in there. And...
Everything out there in existence is just trying its best to replace mom and dad's face.
It's true.
And so
it's true.
Don't bother buying it right away. I mean, it's fine to have something that makes noises, things that shake, but it doesn't have to be fancy. You can fill an empty water bottle with some rice. There you go.
And the noises, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
so that's what you're looking for at the beginning. Is you're just looking for them playing with sounds. And as they develop, as they get a little bit older, past 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, they'll start linking those strings of sounds, or even one sound. Ba might become bottle, ma, mama might become mom, da, papa, one of those might become dad. And you're going to start to see just a recognition first before you see a use. So anybody who speaks more than one language really well understands this, that you recognize a lot more words, but if you were asked to tell you what that word was from nothing, searching for that word, what is it? Oh, no, you said it. I recognize it right there.
And that's why we
really
can see that the babies understand more than they actually talk, right? I mean, I would imagine that they understand double the words than they can actually speak.
Oh, it's so much more. And that's the thing about talking. If you're not talking to your kids, they're not hearing the words. So when you say, oh, grandma's coming, or oh, it's time for bottle, oh, you're sleepy, you're saying all these things. And because you're saying it, they start to link this string of sounds with that meaning.
Okay.
Dodo time, and you make, dodo, we're going to go to sleep now. And then they start to understand, oh, that's what it means. And then when you say dodo, they're like, So they might make those little faces. So there's a lot of communication going on. And really the expression part, that's one of the last steps. So parents do call a lot of the time going, oh, this isn't happening yet. And I go, that's fine. Let's talk about all the things that need to happen first before you get to those words.
Now, what is your take on baby sign language as a communication?
Oh, well, I'm totally for any support towards communication. We are doing things that are sign language all the time.
Yes, like the do-do.
That is sign language. Yeah, everything we say, even when we're trying to communicate, you go to a strange country, you have never been there, you don't speak the language.
You're using hands.
Like you're looking for something. You have a way of communicating. So a gesture is very different from baby sign. If you're learning, 40, 50 words of gestures that mean words, apple, for example, you are associating a gesture. To actually learn an entire language, most parents don't need to learn sign language as an entirety itself. They're learning names of words
keywords,
supporting their child's understanding. Yeah, so instead of just hearing the oral apple, they're seeing the sign. It's just another way of supporting, making that link between this has meaning. This means that. Yeah,
and I have lots of clients who learn a lot of the various words, and finally they can understand what their babies are wanting, the babies who are not
Yes.
talking just yet, but can say milk,
Right.
milk, the sign for milk, or hungry, or, water, or whatever,
Exactly.
right? Which
And
I
that
find
just makes
fascinating.
it key to get to that.
Yeah.
To get to that final form of the adult word milk, milk. That's a lot of sounds right away for a little kid. They might just go ma, but how do you differentiate ma for milk from ma for mom if you're not really sure? But if they go, this is a sign for milk, ma, then actually as adults, that's what's also great about it. We know their intent. They've been able to communicate in a way that's more than just needing all this muscle coordination, and we can give them what they wanted.
Yeah.
They get their needs met. Less crying and more communication. It's wonderful.
And for parents, like I was telling them maybe you heard me, one of my third child spoke and sang in full sentences, like really string on, like long sentences before she was 2. Yeah. But she only walked at 18 months. She just, had her older brother and sister. So I do tell parents that some kids are more verbal right away and may walk later, and some may walk at 9 months, but may talk, What is your take on that? Like, what do you see in your practice?
Everything is really unique. Yeah. Really unique. And although sometimes you do see trends are good kind of rules of thumb, but they're definitely not hard and fast. Yeah. As this is always what's going to happen. So you do have, for example, the younger kids being exposed to more language because the older kids are talking a bunch. Right. And so they hear that a lot, and they're also maybe more motivated to interact with the kids, their siblings. True. Things don't come as easy. Your sibling might not just happily give you the toy they're holding as mom or dad would. Yeah. Oh, you want this? Here. Take it. No, a sibling's like, no, mine. And then you have to talk it out some more. Right. Also, what's happening is that depending on every child's strengths and weaknesses, they might be a talkative kid. They might be, for whatever reason, a shy kid. They might be more a sporty kid. And so they're all developing a different rate. Yeah, my daughter who learned to she is a motor mouth. Like she talks a lot. Oh, I think we've lost Jennifer. Super interesting conversation. I hope she can come back. Let's see. I'm going to try getting her back here. Jennifer, come back on. Yeah, Katerina, we'll talk about the languages with Jennifer because I do want to get to that. It's super, super important. Yeah, and Mika, I love the time when my kids were picking up new words every day. Isn't that fun when they start to talk? I think it's so like anything, when they start to walk, when they start to talk and start to sing and tell stories, everything. It's such an amazing time. But that communication for sure. Come back, Jennifer. Let's see, is she, I think, let's see, not yet. Yeah, if you have any other questions that you'd like to make sure I talk about, here she is coming back on, and I will click add her back. Here we go. There, we lost you for a second. I don't know what happened. That's okay. Computer glitch. You're here. So is there a number of words that baby, that we're looking out for? I don't think I ever counted them. I thought that was very tedious to be counting words, and they could understand me. And what should we be looking for? Because some parents will count, right? They will. Right. And that's fine. That's fine. A lot of parents just want to have something to refer back to discuss, and if you take notes, that's okay. Yeah. Everybody's personality is different. Yeah. So by the age of 1, we'd really like to see anywhere from about 9 to 12 words. Oh, okay. And they don't have to be, again, that final adult form of milk. It could be milk, but as long as it's consistent of this is what they use to refer to that, and ba is what they use to refer to bottle. Now, it might also be that ba-o is bottle or ba is ball, but if they're consistently looking at something and saying ba, it's very clear that that's what they mean and that's their intent, even if their word formation, their letter formation isn't perfect yet. Right. So we'd really want to see those first words coming out. What we'd love to see by the age of 2 is, and you don't have to count it, but just a rule of thumb, is at least 50 words, simply because what the research shows us is that you need a vocabulary, an expressive vocabulary of about 50 words in order to go to that next stage, which is a 2-word combination. So when you start chunking things together at the age of 2, that's really interesting. So if you look at mama up or what they're meaning is more than just that. They're saying, hey, I want to be picked up. Please pick me up now.
Yeah.
And then I'm telling who I want to pick me up. So it's a whole intention, but it's 2 words. But if you have 10 words, even if you have mama as one of the words and up as one of the words, if you're only at 10, you're really not going to be at the stage where you can combine them yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So more vocabulary.
Again,
right.
Exactly. And before you can get to that expressive vocabulary, you really have to work on taking it in the receptive, the comprehension part of the vocabulary words.
Now, there's a chat going on amongst, Mika and Katerina, which we had started talking about, where we see a lot here in Montreal, the languages, the number of languages that babies are, like here in Montreal, I find babies have access to, like, grandparents are speaking one language, mom is speaking, I'm Anglophone, my husband's Francophone, my dad's Hungarian, he doesn't speak Hungarian to the kids, but, that example, right? Some of the kids in my children's school have 4 languages, really, 4 languages, English, French, and 2 parents with different languages. What should we expect in terms of delays or learning? How do we
the research will show you that a kid acquiring 2 languages, we'll start with that because it gets a lot more complicated the more languages you add on.
Exactly.
Is if you're starting with 2 languages, it's also about the percentage. And in order to acquire a language with native-like fluency, that means that you can switch back and forth. It needs to be a consistent amount of about 30%. And that doesn't mean that necessarily it has to be 30% every day. But I mean, it's not 1 or 2 days a month. It's 30% of your general daily activities on a regular basis is in that second language. Okay. And then once you start adding in 3rd and 4th languages, you'll obviously start to see a preference of the one is going to be stronger, especially the younger they are. Whatever they get to practice more, that's going to be the stronger language. So some people say, oh, language X is easier.
Yeah, we say English is easier than French. English is easier than French to pick up, but yeah. So you're saying no.
Not necessarily.
No, you're saying if they're listening to 70% of French at home and at school, their French will be better than their English.
But you also really have to look at their motivation and their concentration. So if they're having maybe only 30% English and 70% French, but they are really motivated to speak with that one kid at daycare and they're doing all of their attempts in English because they're so motivated for that kid, you're going to see a lot more than if it happens to be, in the background, on the radio, on the TV, that there's some English going on for their 30%.
Right.
You have to really look at the whole picture. When you start adding in 3rd and 4th languages, again, you're going to see a preference. But it's the same trend as you're going to work on the comprehension first. The comprehension is going to be stronger, most likely, than the expressive and the grammar of it. Especially when they're young, grammar isn't completely acquired by the age of 5. So to expect them to have 4 languages completely acquired by the age of 5 is
crazy.
It's just a misnomer. It's not, unless you have that, extra special, super rare kid that has a language gift. Yeah. This is just regular development. Yeah. And then if you're going to the other side where there's maybe a little bit of language weakness, not a big deal, but a language weakness, it might take more time. That second language will take a little bit more time, but they're so young, you can't worry about it when they're just 1 or 2. Give them time to keep learning it in school as well. You'll see a big shift in grade 1 and grade 2 as they're exposed to it, as they practice it, as they're putting in more attention to learn it, as they mature more. Yeah,
that's a good thing that you said, and I think we have to be aware of that. My brothers, we're from out west. We're from Vancouver. I have 2 brothers, twin brothers, and we all went to French school out there. But if you were to listen to us talk now, I don't have an accent when I speak French, Quebecois. It's like I speak like a Quebecois. They sound like and not pure Anglophone, but you can tell they're not Quebecois, French Quebecois. And it's that some of us I have a gift for languages. I did classical voice, sang in German, sang in all these different types of language, Italian and Spanish. And they did not necessarily have that gift, let's say, that you were talking about. So or a strength,
and that they can do stuff as well that you can't.
Oh yeah, they're artists. So I can't draw at all. They can draw. They're like animators, that type. So when as parents to recognize that our children, so if we have a child that like you said has 4 languages, but maybe that might not be his or her strength, that'll be harder.
Yeah. Every kid's really different, and the rate at which they develop is very different. So my 2-year-old was speaking in sentences that were longer and clearer at 2 years and 2 months than her brother, who's 3 years older.
3 years older. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big difference.
So he was catching up really quickly, but it took him longer. And so then learning French, he was having such a hard time with that, where she was starting to say French words kind of on the same level as he was when he was in kindergarten, but she's still 2.5. So you have to really look at each kid individually, and they're going to have strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
So my son could do things physically that my daughter couldn't do. But that's every kid. They're going to have different profiles.
Yeah. Now, how Katerina was asking about, does my child recognize when I'm speaking German and when I'm speaking Polish? How do babies' brains decipher? Is it by sound? Is it by parent? If they know, how does that work?
It really depends on the starting point. So the younger they are, if they're being exposed equally to both languages, they might not have it delineated as, oh, this sound is a Polish sound and this sound is a, sorry, what was the second language?
I think German.
A German sound. And that's why you see kids mixing up and switching back and forth. I mean, how many times do we speak franglais in Montreal, where we're just going back and forth with whatever word comes to our brain, right? So they will start to separate it, but it takes time, because the idea that you can have all these words, but person A only speaks these words and person B only speaks those words, and the structure of the grammar belongs this way. So you get kids, for example, English and French going all the time. Instead of the red bird, they'll go the bird red. Yeah, because that's how you say it in French. Yeah, and they've got to figure out all these different rules and codes of the different languages.
Yeah, my daughter last night, I mean, she's 7, and she comes out with the sentence, we were having a raclette, and then she goes, be careful, tu vas burner ta main, tu vas burn. I was like, cute. Tu vas burner, and then we're like, oh no, I dit tu vas brûler ta main, but it took her, we were just laughing, you know, but you still make, we still as adults, you know, make those mistakes. Hi,
I love when I hear that happen with my kids too. It's so cute.
It is cute.
My daughter will say stuff like, it's time to go sauting now. It's time to go sauting.
Sauting.
Tu vas aller sauter?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go sauting. That's what I said. Very cute.
It's true. It's true. When is the lack of language a symptom of something is wrong? Like
it needs to be teased apart a little bit. What is lacking? Are they lacking the expressive part? It depends on the age then. Are they lacking the comprehension side? That's a little bit more concerning.
Okay.
So you really want to check out what your kids are understanding, and also the supports that you're given. Does it seem like your child understands something because they do it every single day and maybe they're picking up on other cues? So if you're putting on your coat and you say, time to go to daycare, well, they're seeing you put on your coat. That's a really big cue, whether or not they heard the words. So let's talk about, for example, a child that has a hearing loss that hasn't been identified. They're going to visually look for all those cues, and there's tons of them. You're putting on your jacket. It's morning time. We've brushed our teeth. Okay, I guess it's time to go, like we do every day, to daycare. Right. When you don't put on your jacket, maybe it's the weekend. Maybe we're staying home. Although the concept of weekend might not be there yet. It's just not a daycare day.
Right. So when
you have to look for what to do when there's not all that support. So if you just looked at your child and from nothing, not even standing in front of the front door, no boots on, just looked at him in the middle of the kitchen and said, time to go to daycare, what does that look like suddenly? Right?
Yeah, no cues.
If they don't understand time to go to daycare because they're not hearing it properly, there's no cues there. And most kids, what they realize really quickly is that time to go to daycare is a little bit of a misnomer. Parents and adults in general tend to talk to their kids in a question format. It's a yes or no question format. Are you ready to go to daycare? Are you ready to put on your boots? Are you ready to eat dinner? Are you hungry? Are you cold? But we're always expecting a yes answer. And kids that have any sort of difficulty responding, for whatever the reason, they learn really quickly that if they just kind of go along with whatever an adult has said, life happens to them. Time to put on boots. Here are your boots. Come, give me the right foot. Okay, now give me the other foot. And we're helping them every step of the way. They really didn't have to do much. They didn't have to participate much. So whether or not they understood is something that we have to tease apart. And that's what happens when they come and see me, is that I am, as per my training, is I can tease apart what.
Oh, I can't hear you anymore. You're frozen. Is she frozen for anyone else? Anyone else watching? Is Jennifer frozen? Having a few tick glitches. Elodie is asking, what's the best way to start a second language? Yeah, we can come back to that for sure. It's that we're speaking. Yeah, we speak French at home, but we could start speaking English only when we're reading books with him or singing with him, like for a specific time. Yes, she is frozen. Huh? She'll come back. Come back. Oh, this lovely Facebook technology. Uh, she's off. She's going to come back, though. I'll probably get her back on in a second here. Um, yeah, the languages. Yeah, Elodie, I mean, there are different ways of looking at this. I think I've seen different parents do different things, like only start one language at home for a couple of years and then introduce the second language. I'll be interested in seeing what Jennifer says. We just started doing me speaking English to the kids right away, and then French was with their dad and with daycare, and that has worked well for us. And then now in school they're learning Spanish, so they're adding a third language. But it would be interesting. I know Mika, your kids too are speaking more than one. More than one language, Mika. Catherine, no, Katerina, no problem. You can check the rest in the replay. Yeah, Jennifer, I can't get you back on for a reason here. We want you back. We want you back. More questions about languages, which we'll get back to if I can get you back on, hopefully. Well, thanks for joining us, Katerina. It was lovely chatting with you. Yeah, today we're having internet connection problems. But Jennifer, yeah, I don't know if you can get back on. I hope you can. What's the time anyway? Well, it is 12:30, but I did want to finish up with what else parents can do to help their kids. What I think we're going to do is we're going to stop here, and what we'll do is we'll put some documents in the live chat. Going forward, there's some milestone documents that you can all have access to. What I'll do is ask Jennifer to write down a few tips and tools that she suggests parents use as well for language development. Like she was talking about the questions, instead of using questions, but more descriptive. I think guiding your children through the actions that they're doing as well. So thank you so much, Jennifer. I'm sorry we're having a little bit of issues with the internet today, and you've got bumped off. It was a pleasure. It's a really interesting topic, especially here in Montreal, I find, with all the kids and the languages. If you have other questions for Jennifer, please put them in the chat, and I'll ask her to go. Oh, she's back. She's back. I did say goodbye, but maybe if we have anything else to add, we'll see, because we still have time. We still have time. Oh, you are back. I was saying goodbye to everybody. I was saying goodbye.
I heard it. I can see you. I just have trouble reconnecting.
That's okay. That's okay. That's all right. Because we were talking, I said,
we make it work.
We'll do. These are live chats, we have to be ready for anything, be adaptable. So you were started to talk about what parents can do. I think, talking rather than in questions, talking more in descriptive sentences.
Exactly. So when you realize that a lot of what you do with a child is a question, and most kids will either avoid a question or realize that most of the time we're looking for just a yes answer, you need to switch that and then start using descriptions. So just talk about whatever the child is doing. If they pick up a ball, that's what you say. Oh, you brought me a ball. If they're looking at cars, oh, let's play with the cars. Cars go vroom. You make it appropriate, obviously, to the child's age, but just talk about whatever they're looking at and touching. Because if they don't know the word of truck, but they're touching a truck and we're pointing to it and we're saying truck, that's how they'll make that link.
Yeah.
But if they're touching a trunk and playing with a truck and you say, oh, let's go play with balls. Well,
yeah, the association is not there. Yeah, that's
exactly.
Yeah. So lots of descriptive words and adjectives. Yeah, colors and textures.
Again and again and again. Yeah, and then you just keep expanding. Oh, you've got the truck. Oh, you've got the big truck. Oh, you've got the big blue truck. So there's a lot of ways you can keep expanding. And then, oh, the big blue truck is driving. Again, make it age appropriate to whatever the child, whatever their level is at.
Right.
So that's one really big thing that you can do as a parent.
So keep it now. Keep it, really into what they're doing now.
Keep it now. But the other big thing is just be there with your kids. So if you're reading a book and you're talking about what they're doing, oh, you got the truck. That's great. That's fine. But if you really want to motivate them, you play with them, jump with them, play cars with them. And then again, they're so involved. They're so concentrated in paying attention. The brain is working hard. So get in and find a few minutes to play with your kids.
Yeah, get down on the floor.
At any time. You don't have to do anything new. You're going to give them a bath. You're going to feed them dinner. You talk about what you're doing. Oh, here, I've got the most delicious piece of broccoli. That green broccoli is the best. You're going to have conversations anyways. So instead of saying, what's this? Do you want this? Do you want more? There was no vocabulary in that. There was all questions. Oh, here's some more broccoli. Let's put some salt or some cheese on it. Whatever your dietary habits, of course. But instead of asking them, we're telling them, oh, Daddy took so much broccoli. It's his favorite vegetable. I love it too. I'm going to eat the second helping. Yum, yum, yum. So
and that's very easy to do.
Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to find any extra time. You do it with what you're already doing. In the car, talk about what you see. Oh, that's a big van we passed. A van's not really a truck, but it still rolls. It has wheels. It rolls on the road. Vroom, vroom goes the van. So you can talk about things in a lot of different ways and just keep it fun, a little bit silly, and the kids will be so happy. They just want mom and dad time.
Nice. We're going to come back to the language issue, if you don't mind. I have a couple questions. Elodie is asking, how do we introduce what's the best way to introduce a second language? And I was saying that there are different ways. Like in my house, we started off with 2 languages. But I do know some parents will start with one language for, say, a couple of years and then start introducing. So is there a better way to introduce languages?
There isn't a right or a wrong way. It has to do with what's best for the family. Because if you are comfortable, you are going to be interacting a lot with your kid. If you are uncomfortable, then whatever you say is going to happen less often and is going to be less rich. So my first language is English, but I speak French, no problem. My husband's first language is French, and he speaks English, no problem. But I still am more comfortable in English. So if I had to speak only French to my kids, most likely if you did a comparison, I'd be slightly less often speaking to them, and what I say would be simpler and have a less rich vocabulary. And so it really depends on what's going on with the family. Whoever speaks that language comfortably is welcome to use that other language. The other person, of course, can supplement and be part of it, and great, everybody's welcome. But to put that stress on yourself that you have to speak your second language as well as your first, it's a really stressful thing to do, and you already have so much as a parent. So it's really about being comfortable and communicating as often as possible and using rich language. So when to introduce that second language, it really depends on your context. Do you have grandparents that speak it too? Are they learning it at school? Do they have neighbors and friends? Use whatever resources are at hand.
Yeah. And we're going to stop there, I think. I don't know if you have anything else to add, Jennifer. I don't know if parents are confused or not sure their children have issues, they can always call you, as I would imagine. And
and I
shared
a couple of resources. There's really, as I said, there's guidelines, milestones, what you expect.
Yeah, we're going to put them in put them in the chat. Yeah.
Perfect. So there's lots of different areas of development. There's language, there's cognition, there's motor, there's emotional. And so kids develop on all of these at different rates. But there are some general guidelines. When people are unclear, I love for them to call and talk to a professional. I get adults all the time calling me for things like the R sound. My child just turned 3 and they don't have an R. Can I come see you? And I'll actually say no, because if that's the only sound they're having any trouble with, I don't expect R to come through till 6.
Yeah.
So, there's no reason to worry about it now.
Right.
They go, oh, it's a later sound? Yeah, wait until 6. It'll come by itself, don't worry. And they go, okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
But I'll also get some parents that I'll be in the other direction. Oh, my 3-year-old only has about 12 words. Should I be concerned about this? And I say, well, it's worth coming and having an appointment so that I can see what they're doing and how they're doing it. And we'll discuss together if there are any other steps that need to be taken.
That's right.
Go, okay, because parents aren't trained to know.
No, we don't know.
We don't know any of this. That we get.
Yeah.
But
true.
It's not complete in every domain. So it's always great to talk to a professional if you have questions.
Always. I think it's not a problem. Well, thank you so much. What an interesting conversation. I think especially that we live here in Montreal and our kids are so exposed to so many different languages. Thank you, everyone online.
Exactly.
We'll go put those
Thanks,
documents and
everyone.
those milestones in there. I'm glad we got you back
Great.
on to say goodbye in person.
Yeah, me too.
And I look forward to continuing this chat. It's a really great topic. And keep talking, being expressive with
Yeah,
your babies. So important.
exactly.
Well,
You
have
got
a
it.
wonderful rest of the day and a wonderful weekend. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
You too. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye. Take care.